For more on this, we're now joined by Dan Geltrude, a managing partner at Geltrude & Co. He's also the author of Delivering Positive Financial Karma. Dan, it's great to see you. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
So, is there any reason for us to be optimistic that a deal will be reached at or before the G20? Because look at markets. I mean, we've seen 5 days of growth here.
Well, let me put it this way. I don't think that we necessarily have to be pessimistic. Nobody wants a trade war, neither side. So that's a good place for us to start because nobody benefits from it. But the United States has no choice at this point but to stay in this fight because there are just some things that are unacceptable. China has been a bad actor on the trade front for a long time. They've also been stealing technology and all this intellectual property from the United States. So we have to take a stand. Now, is this the right way to do it? Time is going to tell.
Okay, so it's interesting, Dan, because the stock market is pointing to a 130-point gain on the Dow today, but the indications that we've gotten from President Trump just over the past 2 days says he is willing and ready to slap more tariffs on China if Xi does not come to the table at the end of the month.
That tells me the market believes that this is not going to escalate to that point and there is going to be some type of settlement between the United States and China on the trade front. However, what I personally think here is that China's taking the political temperature in the United States and saying, if we can inflict enough pain on the American consumer through tariffs, can we weaken Donald Trump really in only 3, 4, 5 states? And if they're able to do that, we could have a change in the White House, which I believe China thinks would be to their advantage.
Does Donald Trump get that? Do you think he realizes what's going on?
Yes, I think Donald Trump realizes what's going on, but he is not going to show any type of weakness. His game is to keep upping the threats, He's not going to show any sign of weakness.
Do you think the markets are taking those threats seriously? And I ask, given what we saw with Mexico and President Trump surprising traders and surprising even some of his own advisors by announcing via Twitter on a Thursday night, close to 2 weeks ago, that he would impose 5% tariffs that would escalate to 25% come October. We didn't see a huge reaction in futures, and we didn't see a huge reaction yesterday when the markets opened that the tariffs would be not imposed, that the tariffs would be suspended indefinitely. Are the markets taking Trump's threats seriously?
Good question. I think I personally was caught off guard with how quickly Mexico came to the table. I personally believe that there would be a deal. I didn't expect it to happen within just a few days. Now, I think China is a different animal altogether, but clearly the market is treating it in a similar fashion to how Mexico was treated. Again, our economy is much stronger than China's is right now. Can China withstand a long-term trade war with the United States? Now, they're blustering as well, related to, hey, if Donald Trump is going to do this type of thing, we're going to meet it equally. That's really what they're saying.
So you mentioned weakening a few states, that China could go after just a few states, weaken Donald Trump standing in those states to get him out of office and presumably get a better deal or whatever it wants with the next president of the United States. What are those states that are going to be most impacted, do you anticipate? Obviously, we've seen the farmers take a huge hit.
Yeah, I mean, Trump's strength is in the middle of the country, right? In the Midwest. So whatever they can do to inflict pain, let's say, on our farmers and put Trump in a position where he's going to lose support because of the economic feeling that they're going to have, I mean, that works to China's advantage. But as we saw, Trump came to the rescue to some of the farmers when they were getting hit with tariffs.
But it was not enough. I mean, right, we all know that. Like a fraction, less than half of what it's covered?
True, but the point is that he played his hand, that I think he was messaging to other countries, particularly China, to say, hey, we are going to stand up for our farmers and we're not going to allow you to hurt our people the best you can.
It's so interesting. I mean, we could talking politics and business here, but when Democrats are obsessing over impeachment, why don't they latch onto something like that?
Well, right now, Trump only has success to talk about. If you look at what's happened, you have Mexico and Canada that he's brought to the table, negotiations still going on with Europe. Very successful trip as far as trade goes with the United Kingdom. So China's the only thing on the horizon. And you know, it's a wild card here. Can Trump actually pull off a deal with China? You can't discount that he could do it.
What do you make of Friday's jobs numbers? Huge miss.
It was a miss. However, we can't look at these things in just 1 month. I think there'll be a revision and those job numbers will jump up, but I was actually surprised that the numbers, the expectations were so high. You saw that retail was down. That's to be expected. You see that in the hotel industry, entertainment industry, those numbers are up. So I was not surprised personally that those numbers missed.
Okay, I think we got to leave it there. But Dan, it's always good to see you.
Dan
Thank you.
Geltrude, managing partner at Geltrude & Co. Thanks so much for joining us on Cheddar Business today.